6:32. And CJ, you're going to admit them first?
I assume no additions or deletions to the agenda.
I guess not. Anyone? Okay, I guess the next privilege of the floor.
Okay.
Any comments not on the agenda?
Yep, I have somebody here named Chuck I can admit.
We see a Chuck.
Hi, Chuck. We can see you. Are you here for privilege of the floor?
No, I'm here for the matter of Scott Penny.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, next up we have 751-981.
Hello?
Apparently we have dogs who are going to comment on something.
Oh, she's very mad about a number of things.
Hi, sir. We can see you.
Oh, I
You're
can't.
described as 751-981. Can you hear us?
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hi, you have a comment on something that's not part of the agenda?
I am on the agenda with Ross Benson's item number 10 on your agenda tonight.
Okay. Okay, we'll get back to you. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, I think that's it for privilege of the floor. Everyone else, I believe, is here for a project.
Okay, great. Let's move on then. Joe, you're up.
Okay, I'll try to make this pretty quick. Let's start off with, we revised the residence requirements for certain appointed officials because we determined we were out of compliance, and so we changed things so that we'd be in compliance. We directed the Code Revision Committee to prepare a preliminary draft for the revision of the RA zone. And we also declared ourselves lead agency on that project. And we revised the COVID leave and general policies. And I want to point out one of the things we did in that is we gave the planning board the authority to decide whether or not you want to require masks at your meetings. I don't know if they're going to extend the law that says that we can meet via Zoom. I guess they probably aren't, given the way they're cutting back on mask requirements and stuff. And so it's up to you as to whether you want people to wear masks at your next meeting or not.
Okay, I think we can discuss that at the next meeting, the working meeting, I think.
Yep. Mhm.
Okay, good. All right.
And
Anything else?
that's all I have to specifically tell you about. If you have any questions about anything on the agenda, feel free to ask.
Okay, thank you, Joe. All right,
Mhm.
let's move on then. Item is 5, Goodman Road. Snowberger, CJ.
Yes, I'd like to admit the applicant.
Yeah, unfortunately on my screen, I can't see everybody, so you guys are gonna have to help me out with the pad here.
Oh. Do you have it on gallery view?
Yeah, I only can get 12 on this small pad.
Ah,
Looks like Leora is here.
Okay. Hi.
hello.
Hi. Do you want to give us just a quick synopsis of what's going on in Goodman Road?
I own about 4 acres and 2 of my acres are behind neighbors. And one of the neighbors voiced a concern that they are, hope that they could buy the 1 acre that is directly behind them. And I agreed. So we're just trying to move through it.
Okay. Board members, any questions? Anyone?
Looks like this parcel was split off from another one, a parcel that's already been divided in 2000 and 2002.
Yes, I bought it from Janine Kirby.
Right.
Oh. Looks
And you're
straightforward to me.
Yeah, I do too. I think so also. Then the parcel is going to be consolidated with the parcel to the north, correct? The one
Yeah,
that's going
with
to
the
be
Beckley,
conveyed.
with the
Right.
Beckley parcel, yes.
Right, so there's not going to be a separate parcel at all.
Nope.
I think it's pretty straightforward. CJ, anything we need to go over on this?
Nope. Just a motion to authorize us to execute this as a lot line adjustment.
I think, can you all hear me?
Yep.
I just had a question about the ag data statement. Kirby is backed up on that. And there was no mention of a farm. It's not a big deal. I know it's developed up there and I don't know the 500-foot rule or whatever it is swings into place, but I'm just mentioning that name was on the parcel, but I don't think there's any big problem.
So you're just saying it's the farmers are missing on the ag data statement. Is that what you're saying, Lynn?
Yeah, that's what it looks like to me, but that's, as I say, I don't know if that's a Kirby farm or Kirby lot.
Nope, there's a ravine between my lot and where they still do some farming on their property, but there's been no farming on this property since 2000 when I purchased it.
And that's 500 feet away. Look, more than 500 feet away.
That there's no farming within 500 feet, is that the question?
Yes.
I can guess. I don't know. There's lots of trees. I don't know how far away they farm, but all of us here are residential, so I don't know how.
It's all good by me. Just fine.
Yeah, okay, can we get a motion to approve this then?
So moved.
And
Second.
And do we need, Heather, do we need to take a roll call or just hands? CJ?
I think just hands is fine.
Okay, all in favor? All, anyone opposed? Anyone abstain? Okay, I guess it's passed. All right, thank you. I think we're set for tonight.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, have a good evening.
You too.
Okay, let's go on to item 6. Okay, we have a minor subdivision, Schofield Road. Scott Penny owner. Okay, who do we have for this, CJ?
Did I hear a motion to open the public hearing or?
Oh, is that where we're at on this?
Yep, that would be the action.
Okay, I'm sorry, missed that. All
No
right.
worries, no
so
problem.
Could we have a motion to open the hearing?
I move.
Sandy,
Second.
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 Deb, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Okay, I guess we're open then.
Okay, admitting Chuck who wished to speak.
Hello?
There's Chuck.
Hi.
Thank you. I'm Charles Gutman, also known as Chuck, and I'm appearing on behalf of technically Penny Properties LLC, but in reality for Scott Penny.
Okay, Chuck, just give us a quick idea what's going on. I think we talked about this a few months ago, or maybe it was even a year ago. I don't recall how long ago it was. Chuck?
Yes. Yes, the situation is Penny's own approximately 37 acres at the intersection of Peruville Road and Schofield Road. What they would like to do is subdivide this into 3 parcels. One would be an approximately little over 7 acre parcel on which there are 4 duplexes. That would be one parcel which will shortly be sold after the subdivision, if the subdivision is approved. The second parcel would be about a 2.7 acre parcel on which there's an office building, and that also would be sold. And the remaining approximately 27 acres would be retained by the Pennies.
Okay. So at one time, there was going to be a development of additional apartments in a loop road. That is now gone, Chuck?
That's not on the table at this time, no.
Right, so, okay. Board members, questions, concerns?
I'm assuming that if there is going to be further development on parcel C, we would see what was going on.
To be quite frank, if I knew of any development that was going on there, I would let you know. And I've spoken to both Scott Penny and Tracy Penny quite a lot over a long period of time, but quite a lot recently. And there are no plans, as far that I've been told of, to develop parcel C at all. My feeling is if we are going to develop parcel C, that would be sometime in the distant future based on a change of what their plans are. And of course, we'd be coming back to the town.
So you're going to retain this construction yard that's there and maintain that as a construction yard?
Yes. He has a business, Alex Coal Paving. That business is a continuing business, and the construction yard, fill site, piles of, I guess stock is the word the surveyor used, but piles of different size gravel are on the property, and that would continue and be used for that purpose. He does a lot of work with gravel and stone.
Chuck, one thing that I've noticed going by the site is that I believe the board required some screening with evergreen trees, especially along that intersection of Peruville and Schofield. And there's some dead trees along there that really need to be replaced.
That I apologize. That's news to me. And I drove by there, it was a while ago, and I didn't notice it, but that's right. That's my fault of not noticing it.
No. Any other board members? Anyone notice that at all?
Mm-hmm.
Dean, you seen that?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean we need to get some attention to that soon, I think.
And that's right at the intersection of the 2 roads.
Yeah, I think, we had he was going to do some screening there as well as some screening along the apartments. I haven't been back there by the apartments. I don't know how the tree line is there right now, but I noticed that from Peruville Road.
Again, I can't comment on the screening on Schofield Road. If screening is required, I guess the happy thing for me to say is that will be sold, and that will become an obligation of the new owners.
Yeah, I'm more concerned with the one at intersection of Peruville Road and Schofield Road. That's part of the requirement that has to be maintained, those trees.
Though that property, unfortunately for my client, will remain his property, so the requirement to clean up that screening becomes our responsibility then.
Right. Go on beyond the screening. Any other questions, board members, on this?
Yeah, is Mr. Penny continuing to use the the old Egan's IGA site as a construction yard?
I think I'm not sure if he is now, but the plan is not in the future to continue to use that as a construction site. His intention at some point will be to sell that property also. So I'm not sure if he's currently using it for construction staging, but if he is, that use will cease, and probably in the very near future.
Yeah, we'd like to know when, because his building burned. It looks like his building on Trip Hammer Road has been rebuilt, and that he was temporarily using the old Egan's location as a construction yard, which is against the zoning there. So we'd like to know when that's going to stop.
I can find out. Unfortunately, he's out of town right now. I can find out probably later this week and get back to the board. But if it's not in compliance with zoning, I'm going to have a very simple statement to him that he needs to immediately stop using it for construction.
May I just speak with the board just a moment on this? So the property, I believe the dean is specifying is a 6 Oddie Drive, which is the building that's being rebuilt. Well, it's facing Trip Hammer, but that's the address. They're going for a final inspection, and our code enforcement officer is aware of the temporary use of the old Egan's as well. So.
Okay.
So when are they going for their final inspection?
Yeah, with regard to
That's scheduled tomorrow afternoon.
I was told the ID Drive reconstruction is basically completed.
Okay, so yeah, I would like to know that when Mr. Penny's in compliance with zoning there at the Egan's location.
Okay. Okay, any other questions on this? What we're dealing with today, the minor subdivision? So CJ, where are we at on this right now? Are we gonna leave this open?
It's up to the board. If you'd like to leave the public hearing open, you can certainly, I don't see any additional parties looking to speak on this matter. So you're certainly welcome to close that as you see fit.
Board members, would you like to keep it open, or are we okay with it?
Neighbors been notified on this?
My understanding is that's correct, yes.
Yes.
Close the meeting? Yes? Motion?
Close the public hearing.
Okay,
Second,
okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Dane? Okay. All right, next, CJ, what's up on hearings over?
Okay, I believe
secret
there's,
review?
yes, I believe there's a resolution in your packet.
Okay. So we're going to have a motion to approve that resolution. Is that the idea, CJ?
Yep, the declaration of lead agency.
Okay, I'll leave that to, anyone want to make a motion on that?
I move.
Sandy, a second?
Second?
I didn't hear, who's that, Dean? Who's that?
Yeah.
Dean,
Andy.
Dean second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstain, okay,
I'll need to do a roll call on this.
okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Tom,
Yes.
Sandy,
Yes.
Lynn,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes.
Dean,
Yes.
Deb,
Yes.
and Al.
Yes. Okay, that's been approved. CJ next.
Anything further you'd like to hear from the applicant?
Members? I guess we're set for tonight then, I guess.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay,
And
Thank
what I'm
you,
planning
and-
to do is I
yeah,
will
mention
find out-
to him about those trees if you would, Chuck.
I'm gonna look
Getting
into
those
the
in
trees
springtime, all right?
and into the Egan's, the use of Egan's. And should I just notify the town or a guy, or who should I notify?
Yeah, you can get in touch with the department. So that's tolcodes@lansingtown.com. Or of course, you can always call us at 533-7054.
That's wonderful. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Chuck. Have a good evening.
You too.
All right, so next on the agenda is the dollar store. So do we have Steve here, CJ?
You'd like to admit the applicants?
I guess, is that
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah, sure.
I did have one question on the resolution. It
Mhm.
says it's a minor subdivision by Scott Morgan.
Oh, that's cut and paste error.
Okay.
Yeah. That's a good catch, Deb. Thank you.
There's
Oh,
actually
the high level.
there's a
Good catch.
Ross Morgan on the other one too. I don't know if it's supposed to be Ross Benson or Ross Morgan.
Oh,
Guess we
those
just
Morgans.
like using that name, I guess. Thanks for the catch. Appreciate it.
Okay, Steve, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. How's everyone else doing tonight?
Okay, you want to give us a quick synopsis of what's changed since our last meeting?
Yeah, sure. And by the way, I'm joined by our project attorney, John Ahern, just so you know. But as you're aware, we've met back with the board in October. The public hearing was opened in November. It was just closed in January of late last month. So during that process, we were able to listen to the concerns from both the planning board and the neighbors and make further revisions to the plans. That included about 300 feet more of fencing and adding about double the amount of trees that were there. We also scaled down the monument sign base from 6 to 2 feet and tried to make it more aesthetically pleasing by proposing a brick veneer that can match the brick wainscoting that's proposed along the bottom portion of the building.
Okay,
Then the overall height of that sign has been reduced from 10 foot down to 6 feet.
okay.
We've also made efforts to come up with additional color schemes of the building for your consideration. In addition to this, the applicant is proposing to add some screening on top of the building to shield the HVAC units that are placed on the roof.
And how is that going to be done? Just some panels?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Anything else?
Let's see. I've already touched on the improvements of the buffer by adding the 300 feet to bring our total fencing to about 560 feet. And that fencing is proposed along the north, east, and south sides of the site. And the fencing is going to be located between a row of trees in the building. So the view from the adjoining neighbors will first be the trees. Just wanted to
And
point out.
you're not going to be installing the berm, correct?
I think I can fit that berm in on the north side along with the fencing and the trees.
Oh, you can. Oh, good, good.
What's the,
Deb?
what's the fence going to be made of?
It's a wooden stockade fence.
Okay.
And is it just one row of trees or two?
It's one row of trees. We're kind of strapped for room over there. But I think between the fence, the berm, and the trees, it should provide a nice shield to the north.
So are you thinking that on the crest of the berm, is that going to be trees or fence, or how's that going to lay out, you think?
Wait, hold on one second. Let me take a look at the plans again before I give you an answer on that. The trees are going to be more on the berm than the fence.
Okay. Larry, you have a question?
I have a question, but I have a comment on that. My big concern about that side was pickup trucks and vans. The lights are sometimes 4 foot to 4 foot 6 above the ground. So in my opinion, the fence now does a much better job than the berm and the trees alone would have done. All of them combined should keep the lights in the parking lot out of the neighbors' windows. My question, Steve, is do you know what the height of the roof is?
Hold on one second. I think it's on the architectural render, which I have right here. Let me just bring that up. 18 feet,
Okay,
up 19, I'm sorry.
19. The rough location of the top of the fence, which is just to the west side of the septic field, is going to be 15 feet above finished floor. That'll completely block out any view from the east of the dumpster area and the fuel tanks. I just wanted to bring that up to the rest of the board to say, just to show how high the fence was. And the idea that the roof of the building is a little bit higher than the fence at that point. And, you know, we can't build we can't ask the developer, I don't think, to build a 24-foot high fence to completely block out the building. I think that that's an improvement over what we had.
Okay,
Unless
thank you, Larry.
Unless
I
the
would
builder
second
has
that.
an idea on how to make it more effective in blocking out more of the roof.
Okay. Any
Well, I think
other,
that screening will help on the roof around the units.
I agree.
any other comments on the changes between the last meeting? Board members?
I thought we had talked about comparing heat pumps as a source of heating and cooling versus the propane and air conditioning. There was supposed to be a comparison of that, and I haven't seen anything.
We actually
Right.
weren't able to do that comparison. The client is applicants deciding that their current source of heat, the propane, is going to be the way they're going to go on this one. They've looked at it, but it's just not something that works for their business model. Just with how many stores they have, that's just the direction that they go for their heating source.
Okay.
Does,
So there's not too much more than go ahead, Lynn.
no, not on that subject. I guess finish what you wanted to talk about there.
No, I just saying there's not too much more that we can say about that. We wanted to see the change, but there's really not much we have to say or control over that. If the applicant wants the propane at this point in time, I think we're just gonna have to go along with that. Correct, CJ?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. All right, Lynn, what do you have?
I didn't know about the color of the fence. I know people are going to talk about the building, whether a green fence with green trees. I'm just throwing that one out there. You don't want my sense of aesthetics involved at all. But your better ideas would be great.
I'm assuming it's just a tannish brown fence that's going to silver up over time because they're probably not going to stain it or put any preservative on it. Is that correct, Steve?
Yeah, I believe it's a natural wood finish on there.
That's what it is
Todd.
in North Lansing, and as the color of the wood ages, it'll kind of blend in with the color of the siding that's on the North Lansing store.
So there was 2 color combinations submitted, correct, Steve?
That's right. Yeah, we gave you color options B and C. C I have on my screen right now. It's kind of like the tanner, more earth tones, but the corner has the dark, nice contrast with the corner entry. Let me just open up my other one here so I can describe that for you. That one is kind of the opposite, color option B, with its darker on the main portion of the building with the lighter corner entry, and also the brick wainscoting is lighter on the bottom. And I just want to point out whatever one you decided out of the now 3 options we have, we would match the base of the monument sign to that bottom brick wainscoting.
Can you put those up, CJ?
It might be easier actually for applicant to show them.
Oh, yeah,
Thanks,
sure.
Laura.
Yeah.
Laserfiche problem.
I mean, personally, I think the C is more attractive. It's, majority of it is lighter in color, but I'll let that's B, majority of the building is dark there.
I'm gonna
It's just-
switch it for you, just like we're at the eye doctor.
Right.
Yeah. Ew.
That's C.
Did I hear ooh? Or did I hear oh?
No, that was an ew.
Oh, I thought it was a whoa.
It was a,
All right, any, Deb obviously likes B rather than C. Anyone with strong preference?
Can you remind me what A was, or did we
Yes.
already discount?
Yeah, sure. There's A.
ew.
And do you have the opposite of that?
I don't have the opposite of that. Our applicant's kind of funny. They're not a big fan of the blue, like they just don't want the whole main portion blue. So they can do like this corner, but not the main portion on option A.
I don't know about the rest of you, but I've seen enough brown and tan dollar stores.
I thought that was more.
Well,
of a
I
gray
think
than a
the
blue.
brown and tan blends in with the neighborhood. It's less outstanding.
I like A. Honestly, I think blue is really pretty.
Is that the one with the blue?
The last
I'm
one.
gonna go to C and then I'm gonna switch back to A. So
I mean,
there's,
A is like the one in North Lansing, and
Right.
I think it's way more attractive than the tan and brown, but that's my opinion.
I agree.
It looks really aesthetically pleasing, I think. And it's something
Hey,
I think that's classic that won't get old over time.
Compared to the other two.
Okay, sounds like majority of the members are for A. Anyone else want to speak up for or against? All right, I think Steve, I think A is the preference here, if that's
All
all
right.
right.
that, I believe that works.
Okay, anything else about the design? The site improvements, anything else, board members?
Steve, is that supposed to be a indicative of what the screening will look like on the roof?
So let me share my screen again. I'll show you. So this was A, this is without the screens. You can see I don't know if you can see my cursor.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's the HVAC units. And I didn't update, or the architects didn't update option A, but I'll show you in option B and C, the screening. They extend the panels up to just block those top units.
Okay.
So looking at it from the side, you can look behind the panel.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, I don't know how much wider it extends past it on, to the left or the right of it.
You're gonna have to be in somebody else's backyard to see it.
Yeah, up the hill.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else? All right, I think at the last meeting, there was a conversation between the short form and the long form. Did everyone have the opportunity to read all the comments that came in between then and now, hopefully?
Yeah.
Let's show of hands then out there who feel that the short form is adequate for the needs right here. Anyone feel the long form is better? Anyone abstain? Okay, I believe the board then, CJ believes that the short form is adequate.
Guy as well.
Okay. All right, CJ, next, and where were you at on this?
That's it's an unlisted action, so yeah. So short form, happy to put that up on the screen for the board to go over together. It's preferred.
Okay. Okay, do you want me to go ahead and read that then? We'll go over this, members?
Oh, yes.
Okay, will the proposed action create a material conflict with an adopted land use plan or zoning regulations? No or small impact, moderate or large impact? Small impact?
Yeah.
Small impact.
Okay, will the proposed action result in a change in the use or intensity of use of land? Small impact?
Yeah.
Small impact.
Okay, anyone else? Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of the existing community?
Small.
Small, I mean, there will be an impact, but it's still small, in my opinion. Will the proposed action have an impact on the environmental characteristics that cause the establishment of a CEA?
No.
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 No, okay. 5, will the proposed action result in an adverse change in the existing level of traffic or affect existing infrastructure for mass transit, biking, or walkway?
No.
Small.
There will be additional, there may be additional traffic, but it's going to be small again, I believe. Correct?
I doubt it would be a destination.
Small? Everyone?
Small.
Yeah.
Yes.
No.
Lynn, you want anything else?
No, I was just saying, I don't think there'd be any excess, large excess of what goes by.
Okay, all right, we're gonna go with a small impact on that. 6, will the proposed action cause an increase in the use of energy and it fails to incorporate reasonably available energy conservation or renewable energy opportunities? Again, we spoke about, the desire of being a heat pump, but at this point in time, it's still going to be a small impact with the propane, I believe.
Small.
Yes? Small?
Yeah.
Small, but not a no.
Okay. Will the proposed action impact existing public, private water supplies? Small.
Small.
It's gonna be small. Will
Very
it impact public or private wastewater treatment utilities? No.
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 Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of important historic, archaeological, architectural, or aesthetic resources?
No.
No. Okay. Will the proposed action result in an adverse change to natural resources, wetlands, water bodies, groundwater, air quality, flora, or fauna?
No.
No.
And I think the engineering has established that, correct? The town engineers have reviewed that. We're relying on their feedback. 10, will the proposed action result in an increase in potential for erosion, flooding, or drainage problems? And again, engineering has said not on the subject site, correct?
Yep.
Maybe
Small.
it'll help it.
Mitigated.
Yeah, it might mitigate some of it.
Okay, so we're saying small, okay?
Yeah.
11, will the proposed action create a hazard to environmental resources or human health?
No.
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 Unless you eat all your meals there.
Okay. CJ, next.
I believe the next action on the agenda is the determination of environmental significance as well as the lot line adjustment and site plan review approval.
So that's all done at one time, right? The lot line approval and the unlisted action?
I believe we've integrated them into a single resolution.
Yeah.
Can you
Thanks
share
for-
your screen with the resolution?
Hold on just a moment. Thanks for bearing with me. I'm filling in. And what is up with Laserfish? All right, let's see if I can find this another way. Hold on just a
I
minute.
can tell you what my opinion is of it.
Yes, we may share similar
Since we're the
sentiments
hideout.
there.
Join my world.
Well, we'll be moving to a new system
Yeah,
soon.
here.
and
Yeah,
We'll be better.
can't go away fast enough.
Just a moment, please. Okay. Thankfully, we have backup methods, so hold on just a moment for us.
There it is.
There we go. Okay, and you should all have a paper copy. Of
So
the-
Dean, did you have specific questions on this?
No, since I didn't pick up my packet, I was hoping to just do it all by computer. I just wanted to make sure that all of the conditions that we want are in the resolution.
Mhm.
Particularly the hours that the external lighting and the sign will be turned off.
I think that's in there somewhere, isn't it?
Just to be clear, that was option A again, was that correct? Just want to make sure I note
The
that.
color scheme, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, thank you. Make sure I pass that on to John. Okay, so here are the conditions.
Stormwater.
Cuts. Sign permit.
Site wastewater.
Lighting fixtures, dark sky. I don't see hours on here.
Yeah, that's why I brought it up.
Good one, Larry. Thought I saw it somewhere, darn it.
It's letter H. It talks about lighting.
Yeah, but we're looking for times that the signage and lights will be shut down.
Yeah, I don't see that. I just was meaning that the only thing I see referencing the light is letter
Yeah.
H.
Sorry, I'm not familiar with the prior conversations with applicant or.
Okay, the agreement was that, and the applicant can correct me if I'm wrong, but the agreement was that the exterior lighting and the signs, did we discuss interior lighting too, folks? But at least the exterior lighting and the signs would be turned off a half hour after the store closed.
Right.
Yeah, I think
remember
that's right,
that.
Mr. Sharpstein.
Okay, so CJ, can we add that to this resolution?
Yes, of course. Let me just incorporate that.
Anything else, board members, that comes to mind?
I'm assuming that planning staff will just double check to make sure that the latest plans are submitted as part of the building permit application. You know, showing the updated signage pedestal and sign height and the updated berm and all of the plantings, et cetera.
The fence locations.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. John and Scott, as code enforcement officer, coordinate that now as part of pre-construction. So.
Okay.
I just have a question on the subject of lighting. With regards to flickering of lights, the one that I drive by on East Shore Drive, I can remember before the holidays was flickering for at least 2 months before someone changed the light bulb. So I'm just curious, like what mechanisms are in place for surrounding neighbors that in the event that a bulb is out or there's something flickering that, you know, they're not living in a strobe land and that things get resolved in a timely manner for the folks that live around them. Because it just seemed like, a couple of months went by before the one over here was corrected. So I was just curious if you could touch on that.
CJ, can you help us out? Is that a code thing? Building code?
Yeah, that would fall under property maintenance. And it's a good question. I'm not sure these applicants are prepared to answer that question relative to that separate proposal. But generally speaking, of course, if there's a concern relative to property maintenance, again, folks can report that via email to tolcodes@lansingtown.com, or of course, call us at 533-7054.
So if there was a concern, it goes to the code officer would follow up on that. Is that correct?
Of course, we encourage wherever possible, cordial relationships with neighbors. But that said, we understand sometimes that may not be possible. So, of course, always report code violations and property maintenance concerns to the office, Planning and Code Enforcement Office.
Great, thanks. I wasn't always sure. So I'm sure other people watching the call would be interested in it too. So thank you.
Good. Anything else, board members?
Steve have an idea of what he's looking at for groundbreaking and completion?
They typically take a month to get things rolling after they close on this property. And we also have to go to the county for recording of the subdivision. That process takes about a month. So I'm figuring 2-3 months from now starting, and they're at typically 3 months to build.
So probably end of September, probably be occupying.
Yeah, that would be a good guess.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? Oh, I guess we're at the point where entertain a motion for this resolution, subject to the addition on the time frame. Anyone? Any motion?
Move approval.
Second,
Second, Dean. I think Heather, you have to take a roll call.
I do.
Okay.
Tom,
Tom,
Tom? Yes, no, abstain?
up or down?
Or either.
aye.
Abstain,
So you
Tom?
abstains?
All right, Tom
Okay.
abstains.
Sandy,
Can I make a comment first?
Sure.
So I'm not really in favor of a third Dollar General. I don't appreciate their model. I understand it's their business model, but I just think $3 Generals within a 5-mile radius in the little town of Lansing is not what I would like to see. But giving what the planning board can and cannot do as far as mitigating this or saying no because of its allowed use. I just want to say that I'm not in favor of it, but I am approving the resolution because it is an allowed use in the zone.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you, Sandy.
Lynn,
Yes. Concur
Larry?
with Sandy, but yes.
Larry,
Yes.
Dean,
Yes.
Deb,
Yes, concur with Sandy.
and Al.
Yes. Okay,
Alright.
thank you, board. CJ, next on this.
Thank you all for your time and comments during the process. I appreciate working with all of you.
And Steve, thank you for being receptive to all the changes that the board made. I think we went over this quite a bit and did our best to make it compatible with the neighborhood, considering some of the limitations that we did have to work with. Thank you for being receptive to, I think, the most everything that we've asked, other than maybe the heat. That was about it, I think.
Yeah, our pleasure. Thank you again.
Okay. I think we're set. Okay,
No.
good.
Al,
Yes, sir.
side note,
Sure.
on my way home from Auburn 2 days ago, I noticed that just about exactly 5 miles north of the North Lansing store, they're gonna build one in Genoa. The signs are up.
No
Yep.
kidding. Really?
For real.
It's kind
Wow.
of like Starlink satellites.
I'll be
Except
very,
we-
I'll be
Except
very
that we didn't have a
interested.
solar flare to knock them out, did we?
I'd like to see how
Wow.
many of these Dollar Generals are still in business in like 5 years.
Right.
We might
Whatever.
have empty buildings.
Whenever I go by the one in North Lansing, I do not see many cars there.
Oh, there are never many cars. The one down even on East Shore.
There were about 5 or 6 cars there today and a like number on Thursday. None of them were ever crowded.
This is true.
I went over to check the one in North Lansing out, one inside. I was pretty shocked about all the things I could buy. That looked pretty reasonable, and if I didn't get distracted in the snack aisle like I do at Lansing Market, I could buy food. It'd be mostly good for me, but I will say that there's real proliferation of them.
I wouldn't be surprised if one goes in King Ferry then too. I mean, you've got one in Union Springs now.
Oh,
The
God.
gap between that and the Ridge Road.
You know, we can
Yeah.
always put a marijuana dispensary when one of them closes.
No, we can't.
What about rural daycare?
What's that, guy?
There's rural daycare.
Oh,
The town opted out of dispensaries.
well, shucks.
That doesn't
Okay,
mean
let's
Genoa
sorry, Deb.
won't have any.
We've got more to go today. So I guess Jessica's up next. Home business, CJ?
Okay, admitting her now.
Yes.
Jessica?
Okay.
Hello?
There she is.
Okay. Hi, Jessica, can you give us a short idea on what's going to happen?
Sure. So we are, can you hear me?
Sure. Mhm.
Yep.
Oh, okay. So we are buying, or we just purchased.
Oh,
Yeah.
turn off your YouTube.
Can't. Jessica, go ahead.
I'm sorry, just one moment because I have 2 of them on here now.
Yeah, that doesn't work.
Yeah, you got to shut off the YouTube.
Yep, I'm shutting off the YouTube. Hold on just a minute. Sorry.
Okay. Fine.
Okay. Okay, sorry about that.
It's okay.
So we just purchased land on Asbury Drive and are building a house and also.
Asbury
putting up-
Road? Oh, I'm
Yes.
sorry. Go ahead.
Yes, and we are putting up a small barn or garage structure for a workshop for our home business.
I noticed, Jessica, you submitted 2 sketches and they don't agree with each other in regards to one has the garage on the left and now it's got, and the driveway is in different locations.
So the one drawing that's on the Excel document that has more of the information on it, that is mine, and that's how we were going to be laying it out. The other one is actually for the septic plan. And so that was just a rough idea when we were working with the county to do the septic plan. So
Okay.
an additional driveway will be going up to the house. That's kind of like in the middle of the property. There'll be a driveway that's going up to the house from there also. The driveway that's shown on the Excel drawing or the other drawing right now is just an accessory driveway for the shop itself.
Okay. And what kind of activity do you anticipate for the shop? Traffic
So
wise?
sure, the majority of the customers right now are out of state. We have maybe 10% in a year that actually come to the shop to visit or to drop off something. So most of it is done via shipping, via email, UPS, things like that. So we are expecting very low activity.
From the public, but you will have UPS or FedEx there?
No,
No?
not that either. Actually, I take the packages to the post office or to UPS and ship them out that way. So they're not there either. I mean, once in a while, we have some deliveries of supplies, but that's usually stuff that fits in the mailbox or, one drop off, maybe once a month.
Okay. Board, any questions for Jessica?
Yeah, I'm trying to square the two pictures a little like Al was mentioning. It does look like the shop driveway may go over top of the septic system and replacement septic system. And I hope that's not the case and it's just the way I'm looking at it.
No, you're right. It is just what you're looking at. It is not. So the shop driveway, the septic actually will be east of that or on the drawing below that.
Your septic system, I'm assuming you get the right stuff in there.
Yeah.
PJ, can you throw that up on the screen? I didn't get that in my packet.
Might be easier for the applicant to just do a quick screen share on it if they have it available. I'm not going to say anything else
Yep,
about Laserfish tonight.
Okay, hold on a second.
So really, this wastewater treatment system design sketch really is not applicable, correct, Jessica?
Correct. That's really where we needed to know where the county wanted us to put the septic. So we didn't put anything on there.
But you're not going to put it there. You're going to move it over to the east.
Yes. Sorry.
You're going to move it to the other side of the driveway as shown on this sketch. Because like Lynn said, if you leave it there, the driveway is going to go across the septic, and that's not going to be okay with them.
Okay, sorry. I'm just pulling it up. I understand what you're saying. So let me share my screen real quick here.
There's no north or south arrow that I can see either.
Asbury Road is to the south of the structures.
Hey, thank you.
And it goes
Okay,
east,
so
west.
you can see my screen, correct?
Right.
Yeah,
All right, so so the way it is showing here, where it shows the garage on this, the county's drawing, that actually is the shop itself. So now what's happening is the septic is actually moving to the right a little bit. So it avoids that. And the drive, so this is very early on when we talked with them. Now that we have everything mapped out a little bit more detail. So if you're looking at the other drawing, it is to the east more. And this driveway, if you can see with my cursor, is actually moved over as well, over to here. Does that make
and will
sense?
that driveway serve both the house and the shop?
Yes, the one that's on the drawing right now is, like I said, an accessory one. This one will serve both as the permanent driveway once we have the house up.
Will your shop have water to it as well?
Yes, it will.
You have a bathroom, that type of thing. It'll be,
It will not actually have a bathroom. It actually will just have a sink and like a tub for cleaning. But
okay.
it will not have septic or sewage, no.
Oh, okay. Okay. And
It's gotta go someplace out of that sink.
Yes, so also right here will be this holding tank here is actually being moved over here. And so it's going to serve the shop from here and the house from here.
Perfect.
And that was approved by the county as well, but he said it was small that they didn't need to do a new drawing. So this here where my cursor is now being located over here.
So then your driveway is gonna go across the line from the tank to the leach field. No?
That's
Right,
all
but
right.
No big
apparently that's
deal.
okay, because that's how they approved it in the first place.
Yeah,
Okay.
you just leave it, compact it.
Okay.
So this business, is there any screening to neighbors potentially as they maybe fill in right there?
What do you mean screening? You mean like trees and stuff?
Yeah,
Or
I mean,
fence?
there are lots, yeah, there are lots that, I have no idea what your business is, whether it makes noise, whether, whatever. And, it looks like a nice design, but businesses, sometimes want a little screening.
Right. Right now, we don't have plans for anything. So right here is the lot line, obviously. We have landscaping around the garage, the shop, but we don't have anything planned and beyond that.
I think there's a row of some dark red leaf maple trees there between your property and the property to the west.
That's actually on the other side of our lot. So we are lot number 2. This one here where my cursor is lot number 1. And those
Oh,
trees
okay.
that you're referring to are between the existing house and lot number 1, not
Yeah.
between 1 and 2.
Okay. But I mean, this
Are
is
you
just gonna look like a regular garage residential
It is.
structure.
Yes, it's actually, we purchased it from the Amish. So if you're familiar, it's just a regular garage that they're going to come in and deliver, similar to what's at the corner across from Rogues Harbor, just bigger.
Okay.
And
That's
actually, we're buying it from them. And so it does look exactly like a garage. Yes.
Where is this, are you east or west of Warren Road?
East.
So Warren Road is to the west of us. We are east of Warren Road. Yes.
Okay,
Larry, it's 2 houses over from my place,
okay.
or 3, sorry, 3 lots over.
I was,
Okay. I can't see who's talking, but is that you, Larry? No.
no, that was,
So we'll be
Dean's on the
neighbors.
corner. Dean has the corner of Collins in Asbury.
Oh, okay, great. So you're sectioning off some of that land tonight with Jesse, which is who we bought this from.
Only if we say
Okay,
yes.
so we'll be neighbors. Nice to meet you.
Yes.
May
Deb,
I, may
Deb, you have
I
a
ask,
question?
what is a fish reproduction business? What do you ship out? Eggs?
No, actually it's fish, right? So say you went out and caught a fish and it's, this great big one, that's what we're reproducing is the actual fish. That's why,
Oh,
we
you're
purchased-
making models.
Yes, that's a good way to put it.
Okay.
Yes, and then painting it, right, to look like your fish that you caught, which we paint primarily from pictures that the clients send to us of their catches. Yes.
So instead
I
of a
can mount my
taxidermy,
What?
so instead of a taxidermy, you're not taking the fish and making it mounted, you're just making a replica of it.
Most of the time, yes. That's the majority of it, yes.
So little or no noise that can be heard outside the shop. Is that what you're saying?
No, once in a while, an air compressor does kick on for the airbrush.
Mhm.
But other than that, I don't believe so.
Okay.
Were you planning on any signage along the road?
We are, yes, eventually, and I know we have to do a separate permit for that, but yes, we are planning something that's down right on the Asbury Road line. Do you guys approve that also or no?
No, I'm just curious. Is there gonna be a lighted sign or just a,
No, it won't be lighted, no.
okay.
That
Board members,
application
any,
will go through the building and code office.
Right, okay, that's what I thought.
board members, any other questions?
Yeah, are there any chemical processes?
No,
You buy a plastic fish and then just paint it?
basically, it's not plastic, yes, it's like,
Well.
it's like ceramic, yes,
Composite?
yeah. Like when you build like some people do statues or pottery, it's the same idea, it's just, it's a fish.
Yeah.
But
Cool.
Is it resin rather than actual ceramic?
It is resin, yes.
And you don't do the molding on site?
No, we have not done that, no.
Al, you were asking for comments. It sounds like a very low impact, low noise type of business.
Right.
That's more like an art business than
Yeah,
anything that we've had come up in front of us in a long time.
Yeah, like a studio idea.
Okay.
As long as it doesn't involve big mouth Billy Bass, we're good to go.
We'd like to do a big, or no, is that the singing one?
Yeah.
It is. No, definitely not.
Okay, I guess, CJ, we're looking for a motion then for this resolution, unless there's any other questions.
So moved.
Lynn, you have, yep, go ahead, Lynn.
So moved.
Oh,
Second.
okay. Heather, you do a call on this?
Yes. Tom,
Yes.
Sandy,
Yes.
Lynn,
Yes.
Dean,
Yes.
Deb,
yes,
Larry,
Yes.
and Al.
Yes. Okay, good luck, Jessica.
Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
Yep.
You guys have a good evening.
thanks.
You too.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Okay. We're right in your neighborhood tonight, huh, Dean? Next is
Absolutely, all around me.
Asbury and Collins Road, Jesse Young.
They're coming for you, Dean.
No problem.
Would you like to admit the applicants or discuss the application?
Members, are we okay admitting?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay, great.
oh, this is just for lead agency. So far.
Who we have? Jesse, you out there?
Hello.
Hi.
Hey, Jesse.
Hey, how's everybody doing?
Okay, you
Good.
want to give us a quick overview of what's going on?
Sure. Well, I think we had a meeting with the planning board. It's been a few months now. We've been working at trying to figure out all the stormwater and because we know we're going to have to do a full SWIP for this, and we didn't want to back ourselves into a corner like we did with the last two that we've done, where we're stuck being responsible for a project without the ability to do anything to correct any deficiencies. So we're working with John Zepko and the DEC. I think we've got that all figured out. So I guess we're ready to kind of talk about what all you need from us to get to a final approval at this point. We've got 3 lots on Asbury Road that we're trying to subdivide and 2 on Collins Road, along with a lot line modification that'll hopefully be going to Dean.
And you're going to be doing on-site stormwater, that's correct?
Yes, there'll be on-site stormwater. And the way that the topography drains, each lot is going to have its own small facility.
How is that going to be protected in the future? If the owner sells it down the road 5 years or 10 years, and the new owner wants to fill that area in, how is that going to be protected in the deed or the town requirements?
Well, I imagine we would do a maintenance plan that would need to be, basically running with the land, just like we've done on East Shore Circle. It's going to be pretty much the exact same process. There's swales and stormwater depressions there, and the town has an easement to be able to fix anything if some future owner decides to bulldoze it all.
Yeah, in other words, it's a stormwater district, and the town has the right to come on and
Maintain
it, or reconstitute it if an owner fills it in or destroys it.
I don't know if they're gonna do a district or not, are they on this?
My thought, Jesse, was maybe to do it by restrictive covenants, but we could do it either way, whichever is simpler.
Yeah, I mean, we're certainly open to, however the town wants to do it.
Yeah,
Restrictive
I'm thinking,
covenants would
Tim,
work
you're right.
too.
I think that's probably the best bet here. Anyone else?
Al,
Larry? Yeah,
the reason it was done the other way before is as a town, we don't have control over who's going to buy it and how they're going to treat it. And 15, 20 years down the road, the third or fourth owner may decide this is just a bunch of hooey. And
Yeah,
that's the
that's-
reason that we put in those stormwater districts.
okay, yeah, that was my concern. So CJ, was that discussed then and finalized, or where are we at?
No, that'll be up to Stormwater Management Officer, who's not here to comment on that this evening.
Good, we can talk about it.
Okay, and any other questions on this?
So Jesse, you guys have probably gone through and figured out all the wetland delineations.
Yes, we hired a firm out of Binghamton to delineate all of the wetlands, and they found a good bit of wetlands up in the northwest corner of the bigger parcel. And then there's a small section over in the middle of a farm field, which was kind of a surprise, but it's not impacted by this proposal. The stuff in the northwest corner is, and lot number 7 contains quite a bit of those wetlands, but we've designed it in a way that they can be completely avoided. I've also reached out to DEC and the Army Corps of Engineers, and both of them have basically said, and I've sent letters into to John Zepko about this. They don't want to claim any jurisdiction for it.
Good.
I think, Jesse, on this, you subdivided 2 or 3 lots out a while ago, and then you're doing 2 or 3 or 4 more now. I think as a town, we would probably, as you get into the interior acreage, probably should be more as a whole development rather than doing 2 lots 1 year, 2 lots the next year, that type of thing.
Well, we've done some cost projections on this, and there's no development of the interior to do that wouldn't lose us a lot of money. So this is most likely going to be it, unless we decide to just sell the entire internal section, or potentially some flag lots. But it's never going to be something where a public road or even a private road going in is going to be worthwhile for anybody to do.
I don't think it's out of the question to have a plan going forward, and I don't understand exactly that law as to how the development plan would work out. We got the expert here, but see how, that passes muster.
Well, the plan for now is that we've left ourselves 3 access points, all of which would satisfy the width requirements of a public road. So we've got the ability to do what we need to do with the interior of it, if we ever do anything with it at all.
A public road or 2 flag lots.
Correct.
Yeah.
Or 4 flag lots.
Right, and again, as I said, I think it'd be more desirable for as Lynn said, a large plan with, stormwater practice that's a stormwater pond that serves ponds that serve that whole area rather than on-site ones, I would think. Yes, no, board members?
Yes, and the engineering plans that we sent you from Tim, I think, indicated some locations for those ponds.
Yeah, we're not building any new town roads or emergency access roads, driveways, which you normally would have to collect the runoff from those and have bigger, more common facilities. So with no roads being constructed, we decided to do these on site. If in the future, sometimes somebody comes along and says, oh, we're going to do a development or we're going to do more flag lots with longer driveways, then it would be appropriate maybe to do larger common practices. And we have the
Yeah.
room to do it. I noted it on the plan where we do it.
Yeah, that's what I'm leading up to. I think that's what we'd like to see. Anything in the future is a common. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Al,
Yes, sir.
our purpose tonight is to declare lead agency.
Okay.
Is that correct? I move that the planning board declare as lead agency for review of this project.
Second,
Pick one.
DJ?
Yes.
So
Heather?
what's the procedure? What's the action right now then?
Oh, I believe the board just moved the resolution and Heather would do a roll call vote.
Tom,
Yes.
Sandy,
Yes.
Lynn,
yes,
Larry,
Yes.
Dean,
Abstain?
Deb,
Yes.
and Al.
Yes, I guess we kind of did that a little.
Well, we're the lead agency now.
Okay. So where are we at now with this, CJ? Next section? We have to have a
Yeah.
public.
I believe the intention is to set a public hearing or schedule a public hearing.
Yeah.
For next month. So that would be Monday, March 28th.
So do we need an action on that from the members?
No, we'll just go ahead and schedule that public hearing.
So-
A minor
ahead.
clarification, the resolution that came with this has lot 7 as 9,219 acres as opposed to 9.219.
Just a decimal.
Jesse wishes there was that much acreage, probably.
Yeah.
Well, if you
But-
guys sign it, does that mean that we have that many acres?
Yeah.
So be it.
Thank you for that.
Hmm.
Copy editing.
Okay, so I think we're finished up for tonight, correct, CJ, on this?
Okay.
Thanks, Jesse.
Okay,
Thank you,
all
folks,
for your
very
time.
much. Yep.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
Good seeing you again.
There was a question I had for the board, which is somebody mentioned something about a legal question, right, relative to major subdivision or maybe just subdivision in general. Town council is here, so if there was a specific question for him.
I think that might have been Lynn when you were talking about the development. Lynn, is
and
it
yeah, a plan of, I'm whiffing on the name of it right now, but a common plan of development. And whether we should see, as you brought up, more stormwater planning, but I do believe it was discussed.
Yeah, I think the way it was discussed, if anything other than these lots come up, then we're going to require a common plan of development.
And then the next question was the district or not?
I believe Guy was trying to answer just now.
Well, I wasn't sure where the question was in that because a common plan of development is a present sense issue, not a future issue. The question is there now a common plan of development evidenced by what's been submitted? Or is there a potential for future development that should be taken into account relative to the current application and its review and approval? So this is no different than looking at the phase development or common plan of development that's been applicable to Lake Forest, Sunpath, a whole pile of subdivisions where, well, we're doing this much. And then when I looked at the map and I saw future stormwater locations, that was the first thing I thought, well, what is this? Is this segmentation? Is this just phase one of a larger plan that's not necessarily inked out yet or understood yet, but clearly something's going to happen? Yeah, I didn't know. I think that you're going to have to explore that, and I think you crossed that bridge in part already. As far as stormwater, I'll leave it up to the stormwater management officer and the recommendations of the town engineer, but the general dividing line between just having a stormwater management agreement and having a stormwater district is not necessarily the nature of the infrastructure or volume of runoff that needs to be attenuated or treated. It's the ownership structure. If you have a single owner of the entire site, a commercial site, a condominium where there's an owner, or even theoretically, although I'm not a big fan of doing it this way, but some sort of subdivision where there's a homeowners association that owns all the common land on which is situate the stormwater, then you have a single owner and you have a pretty easy mechanism for dealing with stormwater management agreements. When you have multiple owners and they're all going in different directions, they all have different interests, and you don't know what they're going to do or what they're going to fill in or what rainwater garden they're going to take out because it's in the way of the pool they wish to install, you run into a whole different set of problems. And the main purpose of the drainage district is to deal with multi-owner scenarios where multiple properties with different owners are sharing some stormwater facilities or some general stormwater practices. That may or may not happen here, but the legal concern is, what do you do if the town has to incur an expense relative to a practice that is not necessarily situate on one property and benefits multiple properties, i.e. a swale? Does that fall to the general town charge? Does everyone in the town pay for the stormwater repair, improvement, or treatment for this one site? Or should that one subdivision pay its own way? The town has universally always had subdivisions do drainage districts for a number of reasons, including guidance from EPA. But, you know, for every rule, there's an exception. So again, I'll defer to the stormwater management officer and what input the engineers have.
Okay. All right. Anything else, guys? Gals? All right. Thank you, Guy. I think we're set for this for now. See?
Yep.
Okay, let's go on to the next. We've got High Gear, I guess, up.
Yep.
I'd like to admit the applicant then.
Please.
Okay.
This is where the name might be right or wrong. In the second paragraph.
Oh, the
Oh,
Morgans
yes.
again.
That one too, yes.
Someone likes horses.
Who's up? Ross? Who's that?
Ross is away right now. My name is James Drew. I'm his
Okay.
architect.
Hi.
Good
Can
evening.
you give us a little bit of an idea on what's going on, please, James?
Yeah, absolutely. High Gear Suspension right over there on Proville Road is looking to expand their existing building because their infrastructure is no longer large enough for the amount of material that they need to work with. So they're really pressed for space. As a result, they'd like to put an addition onto the back of the building. That it would be for expanding their light manufacturing and packaging processes, so that they can then, you know, regain their office spaces, which are currently being used for production and shipping. So the idea is to build off to the north side of the building. Pretty much, it's not going to be seen by anybody from the road or the public side. And we'll be matching the existing building as best as we can with that. The existing building was originally built as a barn several years ago and has been turned into this light manufacturing building. So Ross is the owner of High Gear. I'm their architect working with them. So we're in the process of requesting permission to expand the facility with the addition to the north, and also to put a vestibule on the front of the building to help with some of the air infiltration and wind issues and weather issues that they have to deal with right now.
Okay.
What is the condition of the property behind On the
There's-
north side?
There's a residential facility back there. I believe that's the one that Ross lives in.
That was my thought. I just wanted to check on that to make sure. How much room is there between you have to forgive me, obviously, we've been having some problem with getting plans around. How much setback is left between the building addition and the rear property line?
That's on the drawings themselves. Unfortunately, I can't share my screen because I'm on a tablet. But they are on the drawings originally. Let me call up on my other computer the site plan if I can.
I read 24 feet, Larry, what I see here.
Yeah, that's
my recollection of the site is much larger on the east side, but it doesn't make sense to expand to the east rather than to the north.
The north makes the most sense because the septic system is directly to the east of where we want to put the addition. And that makes a lot of sense. And
yeah, okay.
That made it a lot cleaner.
Yeah, enough said.
But you're going to be putting additional paving to the east though, correct?
Additional paving to the west of the building, not to the east.
Or to the west. Okay, I'm sorry, the west, yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
We're going to probably extend the gravel driveway out to some overhead doors so they can do the shipping and receiving better.
Does that mean
And
that
that hedgerow to the west, how thick is that? Is that pretty heavy?
It's pretty thick, and there's also a fencing that's all the way through there right now. Panel fences through most of that area that's over there, but the growth over there is very dense.
Okay.
is that small shed going to go away?
The small shed is remaining.
So the driveway will have to go around it?
The shed to the east of the building, or the
Southwest corner?
Oh, that's actually a storage pod, one of those like a Verdi trailers. And as far as I know, that's probably going to stay for the short term. That may go away eventually, but right now they've got materials in there that they don't have room for storage in the building.
Could we share screen? Heather has this available for all the board to look at if you'd like. It would make it easier.
So this is about a doubling almost of the existing footprint?
It's about 80% more of the building than what is currently there, correct?
Do they see this as a long-term solution for them?
Yes, they do. Based on the growth that they've been experiencing, this seems to be have the growth potential for what they're looking for.
Actually not letting me share.
So we talked about visibility a little bit. Are there any noise concerns with the expansion?
You actually, I've spent quite a bit of time over there over the last several months, and you almost can't tell they're even there, other than the presence of the cars out front and their employees coming and going. Their production is very quiet.
Will there be overhead doors on the new addition?
There will be 2 overhead doors that we're looking at in the new addition, one for shipping and one for receiving.
So
On the
that's
west side?
On the west side.
So you're going to have the driveway go right up to the overhead doors then, the expansion
Correct.
of the driveway.
That's what we're expecting.
Okay. Questions? Any more questions, board? Anyone? All right, CJ, we're at on this. We've got a resolution then, declare a lead agency.
Oh, there it is.
Yep, those are the drawings.
According to the agenda, we're going to start to consider site plan review.
Yep, this is just discussion tonight, just an opportunity for the board to provide feedback to the applicants on the site plan.
Oh, I see. The septic system is east of the
Oh, yeah.
proposed.
Correct.
addition. That, what I was meaning was extending the existing structure to the east.
No, actually, they do not want to do that. They wanted to continue. Right now, the shipping is on the west side of the building. And so this allows, the keeps the manufacturing and the shipping on the west side of the building. The east side of the building right now is mostly all offices intermingled with some of their shipping processes that have taken over that space. So right now, if you drew a line through the building right where the addition goes, from that line to the west is pretty much right now all manufacturing and shipping. To the east is all the office type space. So for them to put the addition to the east of the building would mean they'd have to then rearrange all of their shipping and manufacturing and stuff to the around the offices. And that would really-
Understood.
So this area is mostly going to be shipping, receiving, warehouse. Is that correct?
There will be manufacturing in there as well. They do some small parts manufacturing there, and they need more room for those pieces of equipment as well.
Similar height to the existing building?
We're looking at going up to a total of 12 foot in height on the exterior wall, so we can get a slightly larger overhead door in than the current one they have in the building. But we are going to match the roof ridge height, so we're not going to go above that. So that won't provide any other feature to the south of the facility.
How much activity do you anticipate, truck or loading on that west side of that building with the overhead doors in the driveway?
I can't actually answer that for you completely. I do know that their traffic, the truck traffic that goes in and out of there is not very heavy.
Okay.
It's not like they have 18 wheelers coming in. It's usually small vehicles, small trucks, box type trucks that come and go.
And is the neighbor to the west, they haven't been notified about this yet? Is that correct?
As far as I know, they are aware of this.
Okay.
So it's an apartment structure, I believe, Al.
Is it?
And the landowner and Ross Benson have been communicating on this project, and they're good friends, and they have spoken on it many times.
Okay. Yeah, I was just concerned about the activity, noise, the traffic with the neighbor to the west. I don't know who's and how close the structure is there.
The structure is pretty far away, but the growth of the density of the growth of the trees and stuff are pretty good. That it should attenuate some of it, but I'm sure that they're not going to be working late into the night building this. And once they're operational, I don't think you'll notice any difference in noise levels once they got now.
Okay. Okay. So CJ, you said this is just information stage today?
Yeah, I believe included in your packet was a declaration of lead agency as well, just to get that secret review process going. Thanks
Okay.
for that reminder.
So we have to, what do we do on this resolution?
I move the resolution for lead agency.
Okay.
Second.
Modify the name on the document.
Mhm. Is this something, show of hands or roll call? Heather?
Roll call.
Roll call, but I didn't catch who was second.
I did.
Thank you. Okay, Tom,
Yes.
Sandy,
Yes.
Lynn,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes.
Dean,
Yes.
Deb,
Yes.
and Al.
Yes. Okay, I think we're set for tonight on this, unless anyone else has a comment or question.
If I may, Al?
Yes, sir.
One of the major concerns about the original siting of this business in that location was exactly that, noise and traffic. And I have not heard any complaints from anybody. I don't know as CJ's office has heard any complaints since the business originally located there. So it seems to me that they've established that they're a pretty good neighbor in the area.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd note that that property just to the west of them has their driveway on the east side. And not only do they have a dense row of trees in between, but they have a barn structure kind of in the northeast corner. So there's some, I think, some pretty good screening between the properties. I think they probably get a lot more noise just from traffic on both Pruville Road and the other road on the west side than they get noise from this business. The only reason I know that there's actually anybody ever there when I drive by is there's maybe one or two cars out front.
Okay. And how about, we can get into it later. Lighting on the outside of the building, where the overhead doors are, things like that, we can get into later.
Correct.
Yeah.
We spoke about the lighting package requirements that you guys all talked about with the zero shed lights and stuff. That will be part of the project, and we will certainly incorporate all of that.
Okay. All right, I think we're set for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yep,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank
Thanks.
you. Okay, guys are doing a fine job. We're moving this right along. And I think with the last one we have tonight then is Dandy Mini Mart.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, we're gonna need somebody to bring up the proposed site plan on this on the screen.
Yeah.
I'll get that up in just a second.
Great, thank you, Heather.
And CJ, who do we have?
Chair, would you like to review the site plan first, or would you like to admit applicants?
Well, CJ, you said that
I think I'd like to look at the site plan, because the last time they came to us, we gave them some pretty good ideas on what we were looking for. And based on what I've been able to see off this excellent technical tool that we have, I don't think they paid a whole lot of attention to what we told them.
I agree.
Nope, they didn't. They didn't. They didn't.
No, that's certainly not what we envisioned.
Okay, so I guess we know where we're going to be starting, don't we?
Well, I think we need to first tackle the major items. That's the location on the site of the store and the gas pumps. Another item is the ingress egress traffic pattern on the site.
Yeah.
And probably the third most important item is the compatibility of the design of the improvements to the neighborhood and to Rogues Harbor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a landscape plan involved or not, but
They need one.
we did.
Yeah,
we
well, I think
definitely
first
need one.
off, the question is, does the planning board, would they like to see the store closer to the intersection and the gas pumps to the rear of the site?
Absolutely. That's what we told them.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
we
I
don't want to
think
see a bunch of parking out front either.
Yeah, so I
I
think.
mean, when I say out front, I mean by the intersection.
Yeah, I think maybe we should just generalize to the developer again what our overall thoughts are in regards to the location of, as I said, the pumps, the store, and then traffic pattern. And again, I think what's really paramount is the compatibility of the design of the whole site and fitting it into the historic nature of the building across the road.
Well,
Yeah, absolutely.
Did anybody see that fourth sketch that John sent us?
That one
That
right
one
on the corner?
Yeah,
Yeah, that was nice.
yeah, very nice.
Yeah,
I also read the comments of the person across the street on East Shore Drive. Unfortunately, looking at the location, that is about the only place that fits as far as our requirements and the state's requirements for an exit on that side, but I'm not crazy about having two exits on the Ridge Road side.
Yeah,
I think
and
it should be
again, that's the question is why is there two there, Larry?
I think there should just be one.
Well, that's why we're going to bring the developer on, and hopefully he can answer a few of these general questions before we get into specifics. I think is the best to start with.
Yeah, I think
So-
in the morning, especially between like 7:30 and 8, it's already hard for those of us that live over here to get out of our driveway. And then
Mhm.
thinking about that in the afternoon, right? All the parents that are picking up their children from schools, there's two huge chunks during the day that you're already backed in and it's already hard to get to where you're going with the traffic. So seeing that flow a little bit easier because it's already an existing problem, I think needs to be addressed.
Right. Right. So let's bring the developer in and let's inform him of some of our first concerns and see what the response is. I think it'd be best to start with. Is that okay, members?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, CJ, can you bring in the developers?
Yeah, they've admitted here. And they may have documents, updated documents perhaps they wish to share. Not sure.
I could hope.
Hello, this is Jamie Genzel Fagan. How's it going?
Hi, James.
So yeah, we do have a number of things to discuss, and I appreciate you taking the time. We understand it's a concept in front of you again, but we do want to jump back into it and then give you a full submission for the next meeting. So, would you like me to share a screen then? Is that
Yes.
Yeah. Do you have changes?
Well, I have more of the building and the canopy, which will put this more in context, I think is probably the better thing. Let me bring up. Okay. It's gonna let me share. Yep, there it is. So they've actually now, just so you know, the landscaping plan's not on here, so we can see everything. So as we submit the next step, the landscaping plan will be added. We're going through the Cornell Cooperative Extension list of native plants. There's actually the Finger Lakes native plants list as well. So we'll have a full landscaping plan as part of the next submission. But for the point of view of seeing what structures are there, that's why we have what we got. So what you see here is the view from the East Shore Road entrance. Now the entrance is, let's look at that first. From a site plan point of view, let me bring that back. Do you see the site plan now?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me close off. I got the YouTube video up still. I'm sorry. So the rationale for the driveways is such that the two driveways are for actually, traditional car access, ingress and egress to the building. The third driveway is actually for the tractor trailer truck usage, so that they're able to use the diesel fuel island without interacting with the regular car traffic or regular passenger vehicle traffic. So that's why we separated the two. We did play with multiple different options on the canopy location, and with the diesel canopy and the gasoline canopy, it just became really difficult to keep that all into one area without having conflicting traffic movements. That was the real rationale on why we placed it the way we did. We were looking at curved canopies. We actually had 3 canopies at one time. Multiple different ways to deal with this site being a corner site. The idea now is one with our last number of years of pandemic. Drive-through is actually a pretty necessary thing for any convenience store with a food option. So you'll see that we do have the drive-through incorporated in here. So that kind of limited us also as well for where the canopy could be placed. Originally, we looked at putting the canopy on this side, we moved it all around. I think I did probably 15 different concepts just on that. But now what we have is an actual better flow of traffic from both the fuel islands, but also for the drive-through. Now, when you look at the drive-through itself, the drive-through also has two, I guess, standby parking spaces. I don't know if you noticed, that's become more of a common occurrence now, is that if there's an order that slows up things, you can actually shift them over to space 1 or 2. So these are all new things that are being incorporated into the Dandy plans. This is a little bit different than what they've been working with. Now, from a tractor trailer point of view, for deliveries and for fueling, the extra access over here was necessary, so we're not tying up this corner. We're trying to keep this corner as free from traffic as possible. Now, to be honest, we don't know if DOT would actually allow for the 2 drives. We've submitted the request in, but that has to go through their process. We've done the initial, what they call stage 1 application. We have not received any commentary back yet. But the idea was to keep those tractor trailers away from that intersection. And if we need to sign these to be truck entrance only or what have you, we can do that with this item.
May I make a comment?
Sure.
As somebody that knows the property pretty well, I really think that you're asking for and or causing a lot of trouble by having 2 entrances on the north side.
Okay.
2 times a day, at least, there's a terrific amount of traffic through that intersection, which you're not necessarily seeing with the bridge currently closed.
Yeah.
And I think that the optimum for this would be just 1 opening on the north side and 1 opening on the east side. But then again, what do I know?
Well, no, you're right. Just so to give you a little my background, I live in Elmira, and 90% of my family's in Auburn. I drive this. I've actually driven this road since I was, my parents driving me up through here. So I do understand that. That's one of the concerns why, I recommended this, actually, just because I wanted to keep as many people away from that intersection as possible. If the only negative to that is the potential of that becoming a cut through. That's the one thing I did bring up during the review process.
Well,
Jamie, can I ask you a question, Jamie, on that? Jamie, if I'm traveling from the school to the light and I'm going to turn right, head back to Ithaca, most people are making an illegal turn on that road because there's no turning lane. Right. Likewise, if I'm heading from Ithaca, I go to the light and I'm going to head east to, say, Auburn. There's no turning lane there either on the right. Yeah. Yet most people move over and turn illegally.
Yeah, they
did the DOT talk about adding turning lanes there?
That probably will become a discussion about how to do the striping and such. I do want to talk about that a little bit with them, but we have to get through stage 1 first. But if you guys do have any recommendations along those lines, when we're talking to them, I'd be glad to present.
I definitely think that there's a need for a turning lane in both situations. Now, whether there's enough state land to put in an additional lane, I don't know. In other words, while we're considering this, the question is, would you be willing to donate another 5 feet or 10 feet if that's necessary to get those turning lanes in?
Well, I think there might actually be sufficient asphalt out there, because it kind of works that way now, doesn't it? I guess that's something we can ask Dwayne. He's actually on the line as well. But I think they're because there was, way back when there wasn't a traffic light, right? It was just
right.
Yeah, and I remember a lot of times people that were taking a left-hand turn, going, northbound and taking a left onto Ridge Road, a lot of times those people would scooch up enough so that us that are going to Auburn could scooch by them. And that was always, I think that's just ingrained in people's heads now.
James, can you tell us what parcel A is?
So parcel A, this is what we just defined, the whole piece is parcel A, but there is a portion of this property that would be received, and I'm going to mispronounce their name. The adjacent landowner is looking at allowing us to acquire a portion of their land so that we can keep that driveway as far south as possible. To Tavaro?
Vera.
Sorry. Thank you, Dwayne. So that property would be incorporated into, I don't know if we would actually call it a subdivision, but it would be a lot line adjustment. And then that 4.703 is the full acreage of the two combined pieces.
So explain to me what that north green section is between the two driveways.
It would just be green space. We would landscape it. The reason we didn't, one is DOT would not want one big drive cut, right? So we had to figure out a way to separate the two. And we were cognizant, believe it or not, that we're trying to reduce the amount of asphalt out there as much as possible. So that's part of the, we have a grading plan in here. We would actually, there's a pretty significant elevation difference between these spots. So we would actually have to do some grading in here as well. But there would be sufficient room in there to do some landscaping. We probably have some sort of collection piece for the stormwater. Getting into the stormwater side, we are looking at doing the stormwater all under pavement in storm chambers. There's a couple reasons for that. One is the big one is we'd actually be, from an environmental point of view, we'd be able to have a separate chamber for, to do what we used to call first flush, but the water quality improvement piece. And then the rest would be the mitigation, the infiltration system for the stormwater. So we would actually place that underneath the pavement area. This is going to be an area of fill anyways. Might as well use that volume for our stormwater and get that underground and get it infiltrated. That's your better approach from a green point of view. Plus, we won't have to maintain an exterior basin that may look bad over time. There's nothing wrong with them, but it's better from a maintenance and a cost point of view. Something I really did want to show you is, the Dandy people are very cognizant that you guys really did not want to see a traditional canopy. So they've taken another approach to try to find the minimal canopy, the least footprint, at least from a visual point of view, to do the canopy over the islands. So they came up with this plan, which is the first time I think they've ever used this plan. This is a brand new idea where it's a very minimal piece. That way you can see the building better. The building's more the attraction. People know it's a gas canopy that protects the people from the weather and such, but it's a little less than the traditional, Sunoco branded type canopy. So that's been the latest approach that they found to work. I guess, Dwayne, this would be the first site for this canopy type, correct?
It's nothing that we've ever built in the past, and at this point we're still evaluating details. The cladding you see on the bottom would likely be a stone or some material, again, trying to break up the metal and the columns that are needed to support this type of structure.
I'm still having a problem understanding why you can't swap the store and the canopy. move that store closer to the intersection.
So from the point of view of just the conflicts of the drive-through and the canopy itself and the diesel. So if we did move this over, what you would have then is people walking across the drive-through all the time. Unless we put the drive-through in the front, which we thought was actually a worse case.
Okay, so I see that. I understand now what you're saying, that if the drive-through was there, they would have to cross the drive-through to get to the store from the fuel island. Okay.
Right. And then in this, but then you also need to have some parking. So what you know, optimally, if someone fills up, then they pull up forward and park before they go into the convenience store, so that we can allow another person to get in the gas island. Too many of us just leave our cars there, but
That's really optimal thinking.
that's what we hope, but it doesn't usually work. But
Do you,
I think, go ahead, who's up?
do you envision trucks spending the night there, or?
no. I'm sorry. No, this is all for, this isn't a truck stop. This is not going to have like the showers or anything like that. This is not a pilot or Envo or that kind of thing. No, this is mainly fueling and then move along. Now the parking spaces are here mainly just for the convenience, so that they can come in, sit down and eat, and then go forward. But no, not an overnight truck stop type.
So is there enough room there if they're coming from, say, the salt company, and they're turning in that first entrance?
So I'm sorry, which way is that? Off of Ridge Road?
Yeah, they're coming down Ridge. Yeah, they're coming down the road. They're taking a right in, and they want to park. Is there enough room there to make that turn?
Yeah. We've actually done truck movement diagrams. We could provide all that too as part of the application.
Yeah, I think we'd like to see that if we could, please. If you have the traffic pattern on the site.
Yeah, I mean, like, just so
they're not always necessarily trucks. It can be people pulling a boat.
Okay.
You know, we have people pulling, you know, recreational vehicles, campers. You know, our feeling for diesel at our locations is geared towards, you know, that segment of the population as much as it is, you know, someone driving a tractor trailer or a diesel truck.
So just so this is my CAD file. I'm kind of showing you what we work with. This is the start of the landscaping plan. Do not get stuck on that. But the tractor trailer, if you came in through here, this is why we had to go 36 foot wide. You can see the solid line is actually the tire, and the dash line is the actual nose of the vehicle. And so you can see how that's the minimum for the driveway itself. And then if they pull forward, and then they could back in. Same thing here, they could pull forward and back in.
Okay.
But yeah,
okay, go ahead.
This is one of the things Dwayne makes sure I do is show that I can, you know, he doesn't want to build something that doesn't work. But yeah, we definitely do a lot of, you'll see cars, and this is just one of the models versus, you know, we've probably done 10 or 15 just so to show them different directions. What happens if the tractor trailer goes around this corner and gets stuck, kind of thing. Yeah.
What about charging stations?
Oh, I'm glad you asked. I'm sorry. So let me pull that back up. So there'll be charging stations on the backside. So here's, you can see where the drive-through would be, and this would be the backside. I have to do the green striping on my drawing, but this is where we determine to place them. Also, this to show you, you know, the cutaway. This is the parapet that would hide the mechanicals, just like you were discussing in the earlier piece, earlier project. You know, that parapet, all the equipment will be up above the building.
And what are you thinking on the materials on the exterior of the main building? Are you looking at?
Yep, no, that's good. I'll actually, I'll let Dwayne go through the materials, but this is the cladding you see right now.
Yeah, we use a number of different textures. Corrugated metal, obviously. I believe this rendition has hardy siding.
Yep.
The red material and the brown are materials made by Nichia. They're also a fiber-based product for longevity.
And what's the light gray? Is that an imitation stone or brick?
That's the light gray is, I believe, a hardy cement board.
Have you done any other designs with different colors? I just think the red and the yellow are pretty stark and to me, not very attractive. No offense. I just don't think it's, I mean, if I were going to go to Rogues Harbor and have dinner in a historic building, I certainly, you know, that'd be hard to look at during my meal. I just wonder, are you able to present other colors to the board, or can you share with us any other designs that you've done? Or do you typically stick with this signature red and yellow?
We try
and roof lines. What do you see in the area that makes you believe that this type of structure is anywhere as near compatible with what's around it?
Yeah. Well said.
And I'm honestly still really concerned about the traffic. I frequent Conlin Road a lot, and it's really tricky to get to work every morning, and it's really tricky in the afternoon. And I just see those two entrances really problematic.
Yeah,
it's already a problem without this structure, which hasn't been remedied. And so I just think this is going to further impact all the residents in this area and just trying to get through this section of Lansing.
So typically, this type of use is what you call pass-by use. So it's not going to be a destination that it's going to generate any more traffic, but it will utilize the existing traffic. So those people that are on that road traveling will be utilizing it. That's another reason why we put these drives as far. That's why they're actually investing into buying more land to move as far away from that intersection as possible. With that drive, that does increase our cost or their cost, not my money, their cost from buying additional land, but also having to pave extra pavement to get to that entrance. Now, if they were able to come up closer, that would be a much more traffic issue, and we just, that's part of the reason why the applicant went into negotiations to get that other piece of land, and part of the rationale on the timing, what's taken us a little while to get back to you.
I think you missed our point. None of us are suggesting that you bring either of those driveways closer to the intersection.
Right.
We like them as far away from the intersection as possible, and that's personally why I don't like the middle driveway on the north side. Right. Were either of you gentlemen here when you made your earlier presentation?
Both of us, yes.
Okay, don't you recall any of the statements, any of the recommendations, any of the concerns that we expressed at that particular time?
Yes, and that's a lot of what we've incorporated is based on that. With the drive, we had to incorporate a drive-through. That's the biggest driver of why this plan looks the way it does now. I could not figure a way to do the drive-through and the canopy on the same side without having the potential conflict from a pedestrian point of view.
Well, you didn't address the concerns of the neighbor to, what is it, the west, where the daycare, I mean, if you look, you can see their daycare yard is right next to where all the trucks are going to be sitting idling, and they do idle. They don't just shut their trucks off, they idle there. And
There
I
is a
think
law in New
that,
York State that
By
requires.
law, that's not true, but if they're reefer trucks, their reefers are gonna be running.
Yeah,
I don't know what a reefer truck is, so.
Refrigeration.
refrigeration.
Oh, okay.
Well, Lynn, there is a law about running diesels for more than 5 minutes at a time if they're not agricultural.
Yeah, this is not a dispensary this time. No.
Anyways, there was a concern raised from
Yeah.
them, and very validly, that I wouldn't want my child out in the daycare yard when trucks are idling right there.
At a minimum, there would have to be a substantial buffer fence between the daycare center and the driveway, parking area, whatever.
Yeah, exactly, Larry. Yep.
So Larry,
When I say substantial, I don't mean 6 feet high. I mean 12 or 14.
Well,
3 feet deep.
we're actually, to be honest, we're well above them. So,
Yeah,
Yeah,
there would have to be a fence along that west line between the daycare center and the entrance and the parking.
so this elevation where the trucks would actually park is approximately 12 feet above this elevation. So I would put the fence line actually on the top. That way it adds a additional buffer, and then put the landscaping on the lower end is what I would recommend. That'd be up to you. So there would actually be no way that they would actually see the trucks from the lower end, just because from a visibility point of view, you have a 10 to 12 foot slope and then a fence on top of that.
so Larry, correct me if I'm wrong, but that building that has the daycare in it, didn't that used to be fire hall?
It used to be a fire station, and when it was reimagined, you'll note that they did keep a traditional roof line on it, so that it wasn't out of step with the houses in the Rogues Harbor Hotel.
Yeah, I was going to say kind of the touchstones that are very close by would be that structure and Rogues Harbor in terms of, the proposed look of the convenience store, with flat roofs and, what you're talking about for exterior cladding, really clashes with the neighborhood, but especially with Rogues Harbor.
Just so that you know, we're not just standing here spouting off what we think looks nice. Between Dean and I, we have over 80 years experience in construction. You're talking to people that have built for a long time. To me, I got to get this out of the way. The design of the building, the positioning of the building on the site are completely unacceptable. Because they don't fit in with the rest of the area, and they don't follow the concerns of the community with regard to traffic. I know you may think you've done the best you can with a tough situation here, and I realize it is a tough situation. But you've got to remember that there are people that want their town to look like something a little better than. I'm sorry, you can be very proud of your work, but there are going to be people that don't care for it. And unfortunately, right now, I'm one of them.
Can I add to the traffic issue? It's not so much that there's going to be an increase in the amount of traffic, it's that the patterns are going to be very different. You drive down Trip Hammer where people going through coming out of the McDonald's takeout. You risk your life because they're coming out and they've got their whatever it is, they're opening up and they're trying to eat and get out of the driveway and onto the road. And it makes it for a very confusing traffic pattern. And then the signage, I don't think complies to any of the sign laws that Lansing has.
I think we could go a long ways straightening out the traffic. I think it's a lot easier to have your store maybe mimic the lines and something of the Rogues Harbor.
Yeah.
With whatever, roof form, brick facing, whatever. And I do believe it's a lot easier to get the store to kind of match up than the island for the pumping of your gasoline. And I can't noodle out how to make your drive-through work in that situation. And, you know, I think that, but I think trying to comply and make it look somehow integrated, I don't know how you're going to do that with a gas island.
May I just
and
jump?
I don't know if the zoning permits a drive-through here to begin with. I thought way back in the day, is this B1?
Yeah.
That drive-through was not prohibited.
May I just jump in real quick? I believe the suggestion was made during the initial sketch plan about the drive-through. Is that something the planning board would now prefer not be included?
Right.
If it stops them from putting the canopy where it belongs, yes.
I agree, Larry. I think you make some really great points, and I'm in agreement with most of everything you're saying.
We have capability of doing some research on our own and looking at canopy and building styles that are done elsewhere. And I personally have seen them in Pennsylvania and in Virginia that do have peaked roofs, and they don't have any resemblance to what you've shown here. And yes, they do have the halogen fire suppression systems. So it can be done.
Yeah, we've seen locally, yeah, what's the new store down on South Meadow Street that has gas that
Burned Dairy?
Burned Dairy. So we've seen Burned Dairy. We've certainly seen Stewart's shops throughout New York State. A lot more compatible with you know, these types of small town situations than yeah, what's proposed here for the building for sure. But yeah, I would say if the drive-through can't be worked out to be able to move the gasoline island away from the corner and to move the building towards the corner, then yeah, it's either got to be worked out or it just got to go.
Thank you,
Jamie. What were you thinking on the drive-through? Is that strictly coffee or is that burgers? What is the restaurant going to be inside?
It's the Dandy full service restaurant. They have their own restaurant offerings. It's full service pizza. I should let Dwayne give you the full rundown.
It's pizza deli, but out the drive-through window would be a limited menu as well as coffee and dispensed beverages.
Initially, you were saying there was going to be seating, I think, for 24 inside. Is that still part of the plan?
Yes.
And then outdoors?
Outdoors, we've allowed for an apron big enough for 3 or 4 outdoor seating tables.
Okay. And you weren't going to put any buffers between the outdoor seating and the parking?
No.
You don't have that in any of your stores?
We don't.
I think when we were here earlier, Al, one of the things that we had discussed with them was having the seating with the building pushed all the way forward. The seating would be back from the road in the lawn area in the front of the corner. And that would have been away from the vehicle parking.
Yeah. I mean, Jamie, is there any other way you can take a second look at this and move that store to closer to the intersection? and still
we've-
facilitate a drive-through.
We've played no less than 10 different scenarios trying to make, the fuel offering, the store, a diesel island, and a drive-through work. And this is the best option from a traffic and a safety perspective for our customers that we were able to come up with.
Yeah.
When you put all the
that.
vehicle traffic on one side of your building, you're asking for a problem.
Yeah.
Because then you're asking to conflict big vehicles with small.
Yeah. And I see that, I see what you're doing and I appreciate it, but honestly, Dwayne, the community is not gonna be for the way the setup is right now. And I think many of the planning board members feel the same way. Board members, any?
Well, did
Any
they even,
additional comments?
did you folks even consider a brick facade for the building with peaked roofs?
I wouldn't get hung up on the colors of the building.
Well, we would.
What we're showing, I'm just from a perspective of what we're showing tonight is our latest generation of stores and the direction that we're building them. That doesn't mean that we aren't willing to deviate from that for communities, because we've done it. I mean, we built a farmhouse in Hector, New York, a year ago. That's an all white building with black windows and awnings. So yeah, we're willing to look at our textures, look at the look of the building.
TJ,
we have gone to this one slope design or one slope roof just because it lends itself to a much better feel once inside the building for our customer. When we build a traditional A, you tend to end up with, much lower ceilings than what our finish is in a building such as this.
Yeah, I'm not sure that I'd get hung up on building height here necessarily, because again, that the old fire hall down the street is a little bit taller, and we've got a tall building across the street. So, if it's necessary to get the kind of feel that you want inside the store to move a roof line up, I don't see that as necessarily a problem, especially when, you really don't want to see those canopies sticking up above the height of the building anyway. So.
CJ, would it be appropriate to share some of the architectural conceptions that John had researched and sent to us earlier?
Yeah, certainly, absolutely. And it sounds like there's some interest in at least examining some of the disposition of the building to be more in line with the historic building, anchoring the corner. I'm hearing also is a possibility. And I think maybe there's some confusion, perhaps we've given to the applicant about the drive-through. I believe that was a request. So perhaps there's an alternative scenario also to consider without the drive-through facilities, if I'm hearing you all correctly.
Well, I think that was brought up during the first time they were here for the concept. And, drive-through is great, but if it doesn't work in terms of, what we need this site to look like, and then it's potentially a no-go.
Did you look at, remember Lynn's comment on one of the earlier iterations of what was to be allowed in a B1? There was discussion on drive-throughs not being allowed. I think to save the guys some trouble, maybe we ought to look into that too, to see if that is still in there.
I'm scanning it right now. I'm actually having to translate it from graphic to text, but I'm doing that right now. Well, so if you do have something you want to show us, that would be that'd be great. Well, I've researched that real quick. Did you have something that you wanted to share? Is that what I understood?
Yeah, we had some sample, I think we pulled up some sample,
Hold on just a moment.
convenience stores that, you know, were just a concept, some general ideas that maybe the board or the community would be in favor of, as opposed to, you know, the reds in the metal, so to speak.
I believe this is my,
Mhm.
be what, I think someone referenced this, perhaps Dean referenced this particular chain.
Yeah, the Stewarts around us are not like that.
And the upstairs are all fake. It's just faux.
So the peaked roofs
That's where the
are,
air handlers are put.
so the peaked roofs are the element we'd like to bring the attention to, and also the cladding as well. Was there the interest?
Oh,
in the
yeah, peak roof over the island.
Yeah, there, and also I believe the last one.
Yeah, well,
The-
I think the island, the canopy should match the main building, you know,
Yeah,
keeping in the same style. Whether
And
it's
that
all
one
peaked
does.
or part of it's peaked.
this one has a flat roof, but it's a much better representation, and then Alec keeps the island in the back.
I've seen this sketch before, but I've never seen one built. That's the one thing. Because
You typically would see this more in maybe a downtown area. So that looks like the bank on Trip Hammer Road that just got built.
To me, that's a pretty attractive building right there, the way that's laid out. Landscaping and the road.
I agree.
So am I hearing from planning board that there would be interest in having the building not necessarily anchoring the corner if there were more attractive architectural or aesthetic elements? Is that what I'm hearing based on that?
That last sketch, as somebody commented, that last sketch you showed was fairly attractive, and that it would appear to me that if there isn't an article in the zoning regs about not having a drive-through, it would appear that a drive-through would be possible on that one. On the back side.
So in this situation on this one, Larry, the island, the gas pumps are located in the front of the site.
Yeah, unfortunately, but the architectural design and the landscaping go a long ways towards mitigating that.
Softens that impact. So you're
Not so much
saying
of an eyesore.
It's not
you're saying
shoved up in the corner.
So you're saying if the utility it has to stay the same, then we need to soften, we need to create more of an architectural positivity on the site by incorporating the peak roof over the canopy and the peak roof or the textures on the building.
That's affirmative.
And the landscaping. The landscaping
Landscaping,
really.
sidewalk
helps it.
landscaping. So you're saying if the developer is forced to stay with the utility of the site, the way it lays out right now on the perspective, then we would like to see, or the board would like to see, more details such as this on the shape and the texture.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I'd really like to see that.
Signage.
I'd really like to see that island moved for the car fueling, you know, if at all possible. If we can go out of the corner, even if it just has to move over to the north side and away from the historic structure across to the east.
So interestingly,
Jamie, is this something that has possibilities? Something like this?
That's actually more for Dwayne than me, but from the
Okay.
point of view of getting the drive-through in. So if we do rotate this building roughly 45 degrees, what's going to happen is now your drive-through would actually be pointing towards or being parallel with East Shore Drive. So that's my only.
Or you could take that and reverse it, but either way, yeah.
So I just want to make sure I'm clear with the feedback that you're giving. If I come back with our same building without a peaked roof, but with a design with textures that are much more in keeping with what you believe fits in the community, is that viable or not? Or is it all about the peaked roof?
Well, I think that's hard to say until we see what you're proposing.
Okay, well, that's,
No,
I just wanted to,
I don't think we're gonna say no, but we can't say yes either. It's like, I think.
it also, it comes down to what the look is.
I think to be fair, the peaked roof is going to be a big part of it because we've had a lot of input from people that live within the town on what they want things to look like. We know it's possible, so it's very, very difficult to tell us that it's not.
Well, I mean, our old buildings that we built for 50 years, that they were all A roofs, but we've gone away from it because it's our new models, a better design. And as a developer, it's just, you know, I'm weighing what I saw as I watched Dollar General get approved. And now here I am, and I'm hearing it's all about the A roof.
What you have to realize.
Dollar General is not located across from a historic building. Okay.
Yeah, and they did add the roof or peaked roof shaped parapet in order to try to match their location.
Okay.
But you picked a location in the town that has the town's main historic building.
Right. And again, it's the location and the proximity of the Rogues Harbor is why I think the planning board is being, you know, there's a little push there. You know, if this was in another location, we may not have the same comments. It's the location, the historic building across the road, that intersection. That's what's coming into play here.
All right, fair enough. And that's what I'm just trying to understand. I want to make sure when I leave this meeting that I go the right direction.
Well, do you have the correspondence that was sent to the planning board the last time this, when you presented to us before?
I do.
Okay, would you believe that we have received almost constant correspondence since then and even have received some this week? We get a lot of pushback from the town, from the people in the town on what they think their town should look like. And I'm not anti-development, but I got to agree with them in some cases.
Deb, you had a question. Deb, you had a hand. Thank you.
Yeah, I think one of the other issues is the signage of what you presented. I mean, they've got signs just slapped all over the place. Pizza and drinks and dandies and blah, blah. I think that surfeit of signage also does not fit in that location.
Hecky.
Well, that too.
I think I just keep hearing you say modern design and please don't take this the wrong way. I'm not used to speaking in a public forum like this, but you keep talking about what's best for your customers. And I think what the board is trying to convey to you is just like to think about what's best for our community and the people that live here, and what, you know, that are invested and really what they want to see for this town, which is to preserve the history. And they chose a rural area, right? And so just kind of incorporating those things, and maybe you can come back with some, you know, you talked about, did you say Hector? You did a beautiful barn building in Hector. So just providing some of those details and different color schemes, I think the red is a little jarring next to a brick building. And so how can you incorporate something that might flow a little better with the community, but that also works for you as well, right?
Right. No, I appreciate that and I respect it.
Okay.
And we
I
don't
think the
really want,
landscaping is important too. I
We
think
don't
that
really
people are
wanna-
quite concerned about the landscaping.
Do you, yeah, we understand. Do you want me to show the Dandy Hector, Dwayne?
Sure, you have it up there?
If you have it up.
I'm stealing the Elmira Structures website.
Okay.
If you don't mind.
So
Not to
a comment,
advertise.
yeah, a comment on the landscaping. The one corner that was shown with a lot of deciduous type trees, you notice right in front of Rogues Harbor. What do they have out there, Larry? Are those elms?
I thought those were
No, they're not. They're not elms. I forget
Locust,
what they
aren't
are.
they?
I think they're maples.
I thought they were maples. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, something similar to that would certainly be appropriate.
Definitely deciduous.
Definitely.
I'll ask my surveyor. He's a forester. He would know what they are, but I'm pretty sure those are maples.
I mean, we have to be aware that you've got power lines that you got to deal with too.
That's the problem. We're probably going to be low lying in along here, but then we can do some. That's what with that green space over here, we can do some more over there, and then there's a
So
lot.
yeah, you might have to do some shorter ornamental type trees along East Shore Drive.
And that's what I was looking up under the Finger Lakes plant list as the native. I think serviceberry was one of the native flowering. There was a type of dogwood as well. You know, something probably on the flowering side, but more ornamental that don't grow too tall.
Mountain ash.
What was that?
Mountain ash.
We don't do any ash. I don't know if that gives you any problems anymore or not. I don't
know that long.
But so here's the Hector site. So this is just the construction photos. I apologize. I'm just jumping on Elmira Structures website, but this is the view that they have for that.
I mean, that is attractive, but I think a more of a brick or fake brick type of texture or stone would be more compatible with a harbor. Board members, what do you think?
Definitely.
Yeah, that's a good start, but I think that we need to do a little better.
So just curious, so James, so looking at that building, right, I see that it definitely looks way different than what you had proposed. The red, though, it seems like it's signature. So just curious, right? So I'm thinking of, I don't know, Burn Dairy, like they mentioned downtown, that looked kind of country, right? Like it has a country feel. So that front door, could you do like a beautiful brown or something that's, you know what I mean?
So
I mean, how far can you, like, not to nitpick, but like,
right?
How detailed can you get? Is that red something that can just
red's their color, but so I'll let Dwayne do that. But
all right.
So what happens is,
just for instance,
I work with a lot of different franchises. They each have their own key color. Like Burn Dairy does have their green. Dollar General, they got their yellow that they love.
Not anymore. Not around here.
Well, you got a sign. You do have it on. You approved the signage being yellow, and it's going to be brighter than what you saw on that drawing. I'll tell you that.
I thought you were talking about the building colors. That's what they presented us with originally, and we didn't get that for the building colors on the latest one.
No, they actually have one of these as well that I've done for Dollar General, Cape, New York, but different stores, different developer. But the red is a key, and I guess we'll have to let us go back and see what we can do, but red
But
is
to
the
to
key
your
color.
comment though, Aaron, you know, if red doors, we almost did this entry on this building in black, you know, or, you know, and again, then the only red that's on our building is our name.
Mhm.
You know, we ended up doing them red and the community was happy with the finished product, but we had an internal discussion throughout the whole project, which way we would go. So, I mean, we have
Yeah,
a
no, I
lot of
appreciate your
flexibility.
honesty and the open discussion, right? I just I'm a
At the
new
end of
member,
the day,
you know?
we want to be a community partner. We want to be a center of a community. We don't want to come in here and be an adversary.
And just so you know, and this is not to fluff up Dwayne or anything, but you know, Dwayne and Randy Williams, the owner of this group, that the Danny Mini Marts, you know, they're closer, they're very into every single site plan. I get written comments from Dwayne and Randy Williams. And Randy Williams, you know, he owns the company. So, you know, they're involved. It's not like we're just dealing with this blank board somewhere else. We're actually, you know, we get lots of comments. So we can take these comments back and see what we can get done. I mean, you know, they renovated this beautiful old building down in their home base, Towanda, PA, actually Wysox, where they've renovated this old mansion. I mean, they've done some things that have been surprisingly unbelievable, what you would not hear from a typical corporate, you know, piece. This is not like franchising. This is not like it's a McDonald's franchise. These are all owned by the same, I don't know if you want to say family, but it's the Randy Williams created this system. Dwayne has been the general manager forever. You know, they've done every single one of these projects, and Dwayne's very intimate with every single one of these. And the ones that we've done, you know, we've looked at many different comments over time. So, you know, anything you have, let's get on the table and we'll take it back and see what we can do.
Great, thank you.
Now, if I do put the drive-through, now not to get stuck on the drive-through, because that really with COVID has become a big thing. I'm actually adding drive-throughs to old buildings now. It's crazy. If we did rotate this where the drive-through is on this side, is that going to be a problem?
Where is the drive-through again?
If I have the drop, so if I put the gas islands on the Ridge Road side, but the drive-through being on the East Shore side, would that be an issue?
On the south side of the building where the outdoor seating is?
The outdoor seating would probably face north.
Yes.
Take a look at that last set of plans, and if you turn the building around and put the island on the north side, you'd see that drive-through, where the drive-through shows on the street side of that last architect's representation. You can barely see the drive-throughs there because it's landscaped in.
Yeah, I think I could potentially do some landscaping on this piece too, is what I was starting to think.
And it allows the separation of the, you know, I'm expressing myself rather poorly, but if you take that island with the peaked roof and put it parallel to Ridge Road, as you just said,
yeah,
and then turn that other building so that the drive-through could either be parallel to the south side of the building, also parallel to Ridge Road, but on the other side of the building, or if you prefer, parallel to East Shore Drive. But I think, you know, one of the things that we're looking at here is the general appearance of the building has to be different.
I think we got that. That's kind of, I'm more worried about the site plan, getting that locked in. I think from an aesthetics point of view, we can play, I think what you heard from Dwayne was we can figure, we can get more in line with on that side of things.
We're gonna have to play with it, Jamie. I mean, we've worked this a lot, trying to get to a design that works. We aren't gonna solve it this evening. I'm afraid these people don't have all night.
No, I know. I'm just messing around. I'm sorry. I forgot I'm sharing, to be honest. I'm sorry. I did not mean that.
So guys, I mean, I wouldn't try to, is it possible you could come up with a couple, 3 different scenarios without spending a lot of time and money in this?
Well, the problem we got is, you know, we've taken so long at this point, we have short turnaround period to get this thing closed because we're obtaining that adjacent property. There's certain timeframes on closing. So we got to move quickly for this next meeting to have a complete package. That's why I was kind of bugging you guys.
Well, it's not like we didn't give you a good, strong hint.
No, we understand.
Last time, and you didn't go in that direction at all. You know?
Yeah, no, I think we got some ideas. We're gonna have to burn the midnight oil on our side to get the next submission. Now, CJ, can you email me the one that Mr. Sharpstein mentioned, just to make sure I have the right, I have it in my head, but I wanna
Why
get a copy of that.
don't you, CJ, why don't you send him all those scenarios, those 5 or 6?
These were the design examples.
Yes. Send them all those.
Yes, and I believe there was also a list of additional comments that John may have sent along also. So we'll make sure that John is coordinating that with them as well.
Thanks, CJ.
Of course.
Yeah, I think that John's comments are pretty well supported by the rest of the board as well. I don't see anybody standing up saying, no, I don't like John's comments. I think we all pretty much agree that those are right on track with what we would like to see.
Have you investigated the storm water runoff issue? Has that been resolved at all in terms
Oh
of?
yeah, so we would do the in place under the pavement storm chambers. They become really a nice go-to from maintenance, but also they perform really well. But yeah, that's the system we have a preliminary sizing on that as well.
I've
So we
seen
will-
a few of those go in, Tom, and they do seem to work pretty well, but you could always ask Dondi, because I think he's designed some.
I'm trying to think of some that are nearby for you guys. I'll try to think of the one that what we'll do is when the next submission, you'll have complete design of that. We'll put some cut sheets in there so you can see what it is. But if you want, I can send a separate package of like some pictures and how that system works. They're really nice. So just so you know, I have a separate designation. I'm a PE, but I'm also a CPESC. I'm a certified professional in erosion sediment control. Drainage is
familiar with the term.
okay. So drainage is my go-to. A couple of us are CPESCs in the office, and drainage is one of the things that I enjoy looking at for some reason. I played with storm sewers as a kid, so I used to block them all up. So yeah, that if you want, I can give you a whole dissertation on our stormwater proposal, but I think I'll do that separately just so you can look at that.
Okay. CJ, John
CJ's
and I
nodding
put
and smiling.
comments. CJ, John and I put together some comments, some guidelines.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it. Oh, go ahead.
John and I put together some general guidelines that we thought the community and the board would like to see, along with those samples. Can you send those as well to the to them?
Yeah, absolutely. And John was unavailable to be here tonight, so he would have shared those, of course. But we can make sure both the planning board, who I believe has helped aggregate those comments, we can make sure, of course, that those get to the applicant.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. So I think we're pretty well set for tonight, folks. Yes?
Yes.
All right. I appreciate everybody's comments and concerns and willing to work together. Deb, anything?
Yeah, did we get something from John Dennis ages ago about worries about subsidence because this is
Yeah.
over a salt mine?
Well, we'll be doing.
Yes,
we'll
I've
be
seen that.
Tech.
Yeah.
That's one of our, once we get our site plan approvals, the first thing we do is we go out and do geotech. So we'll be out there drilling when we know where our building's going to be going.
I think what he was mentioning though is that site is settling in an uneven manner.
Yeah.
So drilling's not going to tell you that this end's settling faster than the other end.
There appears to be some fill. Let's put it that way.
So what we're talking about is about 1,500 feet down.
Yeah, I know about that too, but I don't think that's going to be the issue. I think it's more along the lines of there's been stuff put in there over time that is slowly settling down.
So it may just interject to the board. I anticipate this is likely to be a type 1 action, and this will be doing a full environmental review on the project. And so these kinds of questions, such as the geotechnical that Jamie referenced and the like, those are typically reports and that would be included as part of that review process. So we'll make sure we work with the applicants to get that information.
Yeah, and I believe we drafted a long form EAF. We anticipated that.
Okay, great.
I just had a quick question from the comments. The mention of a traffic study. I was just, I think that's a great idea. And I wondered if somebody could elaborate on like what that entails or who's responsible for doing that, or could we hit on that really quickly or?
So I can explain that. So from, since this road is owned, both roads are owned by the DOT, they kind of govern that. So we have done our initial stage 1 submission, which is the first step into determining what they would like to see from us. We've already given them trip generation estimates based on the size of store, number of gas islands and such. But a full traffic study, that'll be determined what they would want to see. So if you get when you get to stage 2, they'll say, okay, so many trips per hour, each direction. That determines whether or not it hits a limit of requiring a full traffic study. To be honest, this size project does not typically hit a full size traffic study. But I think similarly, like when the Dollar General, when they submitted to the DOT for their driveway permits, they gotta go through the same thing. It's just going stage 1, 2, and then the stage 3 design. And we'll keep you guys up to date on that. And actually, we can I don't know if we sent it to you, CJ, or not, or the planner. I apologize, I can't remember his name. But we'll send over the stage 1 information so you guys have that for your complete record.
Yeah, and to Jamie's point there as well, and to Aaron's question was, how will the review be commenced? And so next month we would anticipate the initial action is that seeker declaration of lead agency, and that will let us get the ball rolling essentially with all these other agencies. So historic preservation and DOT, health department, etc. So that really gets the ball rolling on all that, essentially project coordination and planning.
Yeah, because we will have a septic system. Obviously, you guys know that, so that's another approval too.
Okay, thank you.
So we have a working meeting in 2 weeks. Is that something that you might be able to get us some preliminary sketches that we could just review informally?
Yeah, I can feel Dwayne nodding his head in the background. Yeah, that would be the goal, just so we can.
I mean, you guys are, we're not going to act on anything officially, but at least we can maybe provide you some feedback on that, on your sketches.
We can.
Board, is that okay with you all?
Absolutely. We'll certainly.
Yeah, the sooner we see something, the better.
Yep.
Okay, good, good. All right, I think
So the intention,
it's
board,
bedtime for a lot of us.
so planning board, the intention was to review the RA and ag zoning at the meeting on the 14th.
Yeah, I would think that we would just put in a certain amount of time in the agenda to review sketches, 10 minutes or
Yeah,
15
I'm not
minutes,
saying
and that's it.
spend hours on it, but
I'm pretty sure that's not going to be enough time.
We can discipline ourselves.
How many days ahead of time should I get something in to make that go easier?
So I think maybe if we could understand the scope of what you're looking to do at the working meeting in terms of reviewing submittals. Are we just talking about some kind of elevations, just some basic elevation drawings to kind of get a sense of the feel, perhaps? Is that what you're thinking, Board?
Elevation and then the concept site plan to make sure we're getting on the right page again.
right, please.
Yeah, the earlier you submit it, the more time we have to look at it before the meeting. So we don't have to take up so much meeting time with it.
And I won't talk. I promise, I'll just listen.
Okay, well, I'll.
Okay, let's,
We'll pick up hard copy rather than counting on Laserfish.
Do you want hard copies?
Yes.
It's up to TJ.
Yeah, I'm not sure they're going to be able to turn around hard copies in 2 weeks for review. Yeah, I really thought we were all on the same page about working meetings and the scope of what we were going to be reviewing during those working meetings, but that sounds like a separate conversation now.
That's fine. The alternative is we don't look at any of their new ideas until the second meeting, and we're good with that, but that's just how long it's going to take us to do it. I got no problem. We'll wait until the second meeting.
I'm fine with that too.
Waiting.
We'll get you something and then you can decide.
Good
I
one.
don't think it's the end of the world to get it out at all.
Yeah, let's just go coordinate with John, who is doing all of our development review coordination now. And I just don't want to put him on an accelerated schedule without checking in with him, of course.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Guys can print it and FedEx it in if they want to.
Yeah, I can get you prints. Don't worry about that. I don't mind doing hard copies in-house. We got the machinery. Might as well use it. But we'll talk with John directly. Thank you, guys.
Thanks for your input,
Okay,
guys.
thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
Anytime. Bye.
Have a good week.
Okay, board, I guess we're set for tonight. That was a pretty long meeting. Thank you all.
Yep.
I
Adjourned?
love red.
I moved to close the meeting.
I'm getting leave right now.
Second.
All in favor?
Yeah.
Aye. Thank you all. Have a good evening.
Thanks, everybody.